back, and Haley and I are in the studio with Ginger Herman from Prins Group 5-Star Real Estate.
You got it.
Ginger, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's been a bit, and last time you were here, I don't think the real estate market was as sad, or people weren't as sad about it.
That's a great way of putting it.
But right now, we've got a lot of sad people out there. Things have changed dramatically over this year, even since the last time you guys were on. Normally, you're here with Prins.
Yeah, my Thelma to my Louise. Well, which one's the rebel?
I don't know. I thought they were
Sue's
both
the
criminals,
rebel, so
I'm not sure what we're exactly
very
saying.
valid point. But my Thelma, whichever one's the rebel, she's gone.
All right.
Sue's the rebel.
Sue's the rebel. Well, she's not here, so you've come with a bunch of stuff. You want to talk us maybe down from the ledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what you're going to say to us. So speak comforts to us, because people are worried.
Yeah, I wanted to try to keep the conversation really positive today, because it seems like all of our clients are coming to us and they're just really down. Like, they're like, my interest rate is way up.
Right.
And honestly, most people are freaking out about the interest rate. Like, everyone's head is so wrapped around that they're not seeing the bigger picture. So we're trying to sit down with clients and like, okay, yes, interest rate is a big deal, but like, let's broaden this out. And the market is still really good.
Yeah, like look at the whole picture rather than like focusing on that one
just
thing.
focusing on the one thing, because there's so many different things to just the interest rate. I mean, obviously that affects your payment.
Yeah.
Because I think the last time we were here, we were telling you guys it was slowing down a little bit, but now some realtors are just going to flat out tell you, like, they're going to be like, it's really slow. I'm really slow. And it's not that it's very cyclical. Like, winters for us in Michigan have always been slower.
Right.
Like, people don't want to move in the snow. People don't want to move when they're halfway through a school year. Like, parents don't want to move their kids halfway through the school year. So that's always been a part of our market anyway. And then, of course, yes, the interest rates did increase, and that made people back off. So maybe
We're
we're
at about, what, like 7.5 right now?
Well, so they actually dipped down.
Okay.
As of Wednesday, they were probably, I want to say, in like the mid sixes to high
Okay,
sixes.
so they've come down a little bit.
Yes. So the inflation rate that came back to the feds did decrease. It's not increasing as crazy of a rate. So we did see that dip in the interest rates. Now, will it stay till the rest of the year? I don't know.
Yeah,
I wish
enough.
I had a crystal ball to tell you. Because, I mean, most of the economists and lenders were telling us, like, we could hit the 8s. We could maybe go over 8. So, of course, people are panicking.
Right.
Will that happen by Christmas or a little bit after Christmas? I don't know. So we're kind of trying to tell people, like, let's focus on what we have right now and let's move from that.
All right. So what do we have right now? And how do we move from that?
Yeah. So what we're trying to get people to focus on is, let's start with, what is your comfortable mortgage payment? Okay, let's not look at the interest rate. What do you actually want to spend monthly? Okay, here's what you can afford when we look at the purchase price. Now, people that were searching with us in maybe like April, May, June, July, that's when we still had the Shark Tank. It was crazy market, multiple offers. You were paying over appraisal. It was insane. Now homes, we have more homes on the market. We have less competition out there because buyers have stepped back. So this is why we're like, okay, you guys, you have to dive in now.
Well, there's some negotiating room at this point, I would think.
Yes.
Whereas before, there was such little on the inventory, and then you had so many people looking that, I mean, when I was looking, we were offering, $50,000 over asking price. Now, you're looking at a list price and potentially taking money off of that, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, because if you're the only offer in, you don't have to come in at list price. We could come in lower. Or if it's not just list price, like, let's say you want some of your closing costs covered, let's do that. Let's get some of your closing costs covered. Less people waiving inspections.
Yeah.
So now you know for sure you're going to get a good house. You're not chancing that. I also see a lot of people because I don't like saying our home values have come down. They technically have since maybe like June or July of this year. They have come down, but let's look at it to last year. We're still up from last year.
Okay.
But the people that were searching earlier this summer, you probably have now a lower purchase price that you're looking at these houses,
So there's a lot of positive in that regard.
There is a lot of positive. I had a lender sit down with a buyer and they printed out a sheet for them, like what their costs and everything were going to to be involved at a lower interest rate with a higher purchase price in July, and then to now, and you guys, it was almost the same.
Yeah.
Because the purchase price is actually lower, even though you have a higher interest rate. It's about the same.
It like balances out ultimately.
Yes. Yep.
And now you don't have the high pressure. I mean, I feel like that's, I don't know, we should be talked about, because when I was looking just a year ago, it was so high pressure, and the stress behind looking for a house and having to make a decision almost before you even walk into the house.
Yeah.
Well, and
as
you
to
weren't
whether you're going to make an offer.
right, and you weren't in the boat where you were making great decisions.
Yeah.
You personally, Haley,
Yeah.
because you were thrown into that.
Right.
You were just making. From my point of view, I wasn't looking for a house, so I wasn't in that particular situation. Previously, years back when I did, there were so many things that we did that were just normal for how you buy a house and
Your time,
all these safety
all of
steps.
these due diligence.
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Haley was almost planning out ridiculous offers before you'd even seen the house, but that's
Right.
the situation you
Yeah,
were in.
you
That's just
literally
what
had
you
to
had to
do
do.
that.
So that's a huge benefit for people looking now.
Well, and I think I've read so many articles about buyer's remorse from the pressure of those situations that I don't think you're going to have now, because you do have time to actually make smart decisions.
Yeah.
Haley,
Have inspections.
some of us can have remorse no matter what the situation is. I will find a way to feel bad and guilty about my purchase no matter what.
Oh, good.
But maybe it's less likely.
Less remorse.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, did you feel you personally felt like you had to settle for your house or no?
I mean, I think I ended up in the best possible scenario. I think
That's true for
based
your
on
house.
what I have now, looking at some of the houses that I, right at the beginning of the search, had offered on, I think, thank God I didn't get those houses.
Those houses, yeah. Those maybe you would have been settling.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm-
yeah,
I'm
definitely.
also telling some of my buyers, I think there's the less pressure and with the less competition,
Right.
you feel like you don't have to settle. Let's say a
Exactly.
buyer comes to me and they're like, we have to have 2 bathrooms. Well, sorry, you don't get 2 bathrooms because all the houses on the market are only 1 bathroom and you got to pick one of those. Now they have more options
Right.
to look at, and it's like, oh, we don't have to get rid of that bathroom that we really wanted.
Right.
No, it was insane. Haley was. I remember one where you were talking about, well, it's got foundation issues, I think, and we'll but I can get that covered with this loan that'll do this, or remember that?
Yeah, the big
and I kept thinking,
fixer-upper one.
what is going on? But yet that's the situation.
Yeah.
So that would have been a huge settle. For the one that you ended up with, I think you're thrilled with.
Yeah.
And not to say that my buyers that purchased earlier this year, not to say that they have bad houses, because they don't.
Right.
Like
But
they
we don't
made
want
it,
that story to get out there. Yeah.
Like they made it work for what they needed, and they still made sure that they loved the house. It wasn't like, wow, we're buying something that we hate, because most buyers
Right.
just backed out. Like, we're not going to buy a
Yes.
house then, you
Yeah.
know? So they still bought good houses. And to be honest, they bought at a better interest rate than what it is now.
Sure.
So even though we've seen a little bit of dip in home values, you're still higher than last year. And to be honest, it's still going to go up next year.
Yeah.
So like those people, I don't want them to feel like, crap, we bought it the worst time. We have a worse house.
Yeah.
No, that's
No.
not the case.
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's just you have so much less pressure. And I think for me, it was the first time I was looking for my home. And
Well, and you
all
were-
of that was new. And I was, moving from a 1-bedroom apartment where it was like anything is better.
than what I have now.
Right. Your situation was different than a lot of people, but
Yeah.
the pressure was the same.
Yes.
And it was just unreal.
Yeah.
The,
So to
some of
have
the
more
decisions that you would be
inventory
willing to make.
is
Yeah.
a blessing.
So a couple things with the rates too, because I know that's what everyone's focusing on, and I understand that obviously affects your payment. Most people are not in their house for 30 years. If you were to look at your payments for the next 30 years at that current interest rate in the 6s or 7s, yes, that's very overwhelming. However, I'm trying to remind people they're supposed to come back down next year. If they don't come back down next year, they're most likely still going to come down in some sort of future, right? Is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? Is it 18 months? It's eventually going to come down.
Sure.
When our market kind of settles out a little bit and becomes really healthy. We're healthier now, but we have a ways to go yet. So it's like, let's get into the house now. You have less competition. You don't have to pay over appraisal. You can get what you really want. Ride it out until the interest rates drop. Just refinance.
Yeah.
We can make that happen. And that's
Right.
what lenders are talking to their buyers about now.
That makes sense.
Like, it's better to get in the house now. Okay, I'm trying to think of the phrase that they use. marry the house, date your interest rate. That's it. See? Marry the house. Let's get you in the house. Stay in the house.
Yeah.
But let's date the interest rate. As soon as it drops, let's refinance you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what they're pushing people. Not pushing, but they're trying to tell
Recommending,
people.
yeah.
It's not like you're stuck with that interest rate forever.
Yeah.
They also have our preferred lender that we use does a 2-to-1 buy down program. And how it goes is for, let's say, just to use easy numbers, let's say the interest rates are at 7% today. For the next 2 years, it's going to be, I don't like saying adjustable, but for the first year, they're going to buy it down 2 points. So to 5%, you're going to have for the first year. Second year is going to be 6%. Then when we get to that third year, you're back up to where the market was, which was 7%, because I shared that it was 7%.
Yeah.
So some people are using that program because they're like, okay, for the next year, let's get us to the 5%. Let's ride that out until the interest rates drop. Then we're just going to refinance. Or your worst case scenario with that program is in 3 years, you're at 7%.
Sure.
Which is what you were at now.
Right.
You know? But you had a couple of years at a lower interest rate, lower payments, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's programs out there. It's not like you're just stuck with what the market is at now. You can also buy points down, so you can decrease that if you want to. But I would say majority of lenders are saying, let's save the money. Let's not buy down. Let's just refinance you in a year whenever those rates do come down.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're kind of hitting the end of this segment. I do want to talk to sellers.
Yeah.
You know, because they're probably, well, wait a minute. What's the good news for us?
They
Is there any?
They are freaking out.
Do you have time to wait with us?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be in the studio still with Ginger Herman from Prins Group 5-Star Real Estate, talking specifically to sellers a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giving you some hope, right?
Yes.
Hope? Okay.
Oh,
Good.
hope. Yeah.
That's all coming up just ahead. Stay tuned. All right. So there's that. We go to that?
Yeah, it's weird talking about myself.
Yeah.
I'm not by myself, but like,
Yeah.
No, without Sue?
it's a weird dynamic because like if she talks, then I have time to think about certain things. You know, it's just weird.
Your co-host is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you're like they're both criminals.
That was very funny.
But isn't there not a nice one? Isn't there one that's like better than the other? Like
yes.
she's more the voice of reason, where the
Yeah.
other one's just like, let's
Yeah.
do whatever. I don't know.
We'll
I'm
have to
gonna bring
look
that
that
up to my mom.
Yeah.
All right. You ready, Haley?
Yes.
And we're back, and Haley and I are in the studio with Ginger Herman from Prins Group 5-Star Real Estate Leaders.
You're really
Right?
nailing that today.
I am.
You got it.
I knew you were coming in, so I practiced and practiced and practiced. The kids said I had it down, and I'm good to go. So anyway, yeah, we've been talking about the real estate market. We've had you in multiple times throughout the year.
Yeah.
Normally you're here with Sue.
Yeah.
And yeah, we kind of go through what the situation is. And it's been a crazy year. We started, I was going to say fun. I don't know that it was a fun year, but so many things have changed from the beginning. You know, the very first time you were in, we were talking about how you just got to jump into this tank and everybody's trying to get a house and there's multiple offers and it's
Shark Tank.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now things have slowed down a bit and people are bummed about interest rates. Everybody's down on the market. We were talking about that in the previous segment, that there's reasons to still be positive.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of things you can do. If you missed that segment and you are in the market for a house, definitely go to the repcolite.com and catch that podcast and you'll catch the whole thing. Right now, I guess before we jump into sellers, is there any more that you wanted to talk to the buyers about? Any more info that you had for them, or are we ready to transition to sellers?
I think I'll just say this last piece of advice of there's a lot of news out there right now. Don't trust everything that you see. Definitely call your preferred or whoever you're using for a realtor and a lender. Ask them first.
Yeah.
Like don't just
so
trust
many headlines are just like click the article and read. It's inflammatory.
And also national versus regional, right? Like our West Michigan market, I think is still doing really good overall as if you look at other states and other areas. So it's kind of like call your local realtor, call your lender, ask them first before you just say, oh, we're going to wait till the spring to buy. it might not be the best situation for you to wait.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Don't completely freak out. I always roll with that. That seems sound
Panic.
advice.
Lead with the freak out.
Sometimes I like to, If I ever have somebody break into the house, I am leading with the freak out because I'm assuming that's going to really.
That might turn them around and say, I think I'm not.
I don't want anything to do with this
here.
guy. He is nuts. I'm going to another house.
See ya.
All right. Let's talk to the sellers because we had a lot of, some positive spin for the buyers. Sellers went from, I put the sign in the yard and people just walk up with pounds and, bags of cash and they offer them to me.
Yeah.
It's not that way right now. So what's positive for sellers?
Yeah, to stay positive with sellers, because I'll start off with saying a lot of people are like, oh, the home values are, dipping, and they are probably less than what they were in our highest summertime. So you may have gone down a little bit, but we're still focusing on the fact that you are higher than you were last year. Mm-hmm. So you are still, if you would have sold last year and you're going to sell this month, October and November, you're still higher than what you were last year. You're just a little bit down maybe from the summer market.
That makes sense.
And to be honest, we are just changing our market strategy. So beforehand, it was kind of like where's your keys? I'm going to put the sign out. We're going to sell your house and it's going to go, and you don't really have to do much. Whereas now, it's case by case with each house, but we might walk in and say, like, let's paint a couple rooms to get it a little bit more neutral. Maybe we want to stage a couple of rooms. Like either they don't have furniture in general,
right?
Or, your furniture might not match what people are to taste. And we do staging for free. So we'll just tell you, like, you know what, we're going to bring in some of this furniture.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of a couple of these items. Focusing on deep cleaning and making your house shine. And then also just when we post on the market and how we're going to list your house price-wise is what we're really just kind of changing up, because we are still getting our sellers multiple offers.
Okay.
It's just the price tag we might put for your listing price may make your jaw like, what? I don't want to sell my house.
Though, so that you get more people in the door,
Yep,
right?
we are lowering it so we get more people in the door. I'm trying to think the last time I had like a crazy multiple offer situation. Honestly, in the summer, we were up to like 15, 20 offers. It's not like that anymore. Maybe it's more like a 3 to 5, kind of range.
Yeah.
But we can still get you multiple offers to still get you an amazing price.
Yeah.
It's not like doom and
You're
gloom
not
for
doomed,
sellers.
right.
No, you're not. We're just changing the way that we market it.
And you just have to do a little bit more, right?
Yes.
Like you got to put some lipstick on now.
Yes.
Lipstick on the pig? Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
And it's kind of hard now because we're heading into a season of like your curb appeal on your house isn't going to necessarily look the best. But
mine goes up when the snow comes down.
Hides all the weeds.
It looks way better.
Like if you don't have grass now, they can't see
that place is amazing. Yeah, buy now. Don't.
That's true. Let's wait to take pictures until it snows then.
Yeah.
No, but fall, all the leaves have dropped. Let's get all the leaves out. My mom recently just listed a house and she's like, let's go buy a bunch of mums. And we didn't even plant them in the ground, but we just dug a tiny little hole, right? You set them all up.
Right.
Like we're still, like you said, it's not necessarily lipstick on a pig, but we're making the house look a little bit more attractive to the buyers out there so that, like I said, we have more options. We just have more inventory now, which is great. It's really healthy.
You just have to make your house stand out now.
Yep. We have to set yours aside.
Yeah.
So we'll even often the week that we're going to list it, we'll look at what your competition is going to be and say, okay, how can we beat out that competition?
Yeah.
They have this, they have this. Is that in your budget to where we can either go purchase it or let's bring someone in here to either paint for you or whatever it is that we need to do to make us beat out that competition? We're going to do that.
Well, and I think, obviously we're in the paint industry, so it feels very self-serving to say that, paint can really transform spaces really easily, but it really can.
Yeah.
And if you're selling, that would be my first go-to
Yeah.
is, okay, let's neutralize the space a little, make it as bright as possible. And it's not hard work.
No.
It just takes some time.
Yeah. We often honestly start there. Like we'll pay attention to the walls first.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even that the paint color is bad. It's that it hasn't been painted in like 7-10 years. And
got,
you have kids
scuff
and dogs.
marks. And,
right.
Yeah.
Let's just do a quick freshen up paint. So then it transforms the whole room. If you just have fresh paint, it does.
Well, it's all the stuff that we don't see because we live in the house
Yes.
that other people do see because they have fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's just some things that we're focusing on with our seller. How can we beat out the competition that's on the market right now?
It's kind of a fun game, honestly.
Beating out the seller, the other sellers?
Well, and Sue and I are not afraid to get our hands dirty and work. Like both her and I have spent hours painting clients' houses inside and out, staging. Like I said, we offer that for free. We'll spend time. Like we're not afraid to do that work. So some sellers, it's overwhelming, but we're like, we got you. Don't worry.
All right. I've got a question. So you do that. Help me understand this whole process. I say I want to sell my house. And I bring you in and you say, okay, these rooms need to be repainted. This is horrible. I can't believe people live here. And once I quit crying and you realize, okay, he's going to need help doing this. Let's say you help me accomplish that. Yep. And then I say, okay, my mission is accomplished. I no longer want to sell. What do I owe you?
Wow.
See, that's what I'm thinking.
You went there.
I would.
Wow.
Is this who you work with?
I would never do that for real.
He could be your Thelma. I mean,
yeah. we talked in the first segment. Yeah, without
Thelma
Sue
and
here.
Louise.
Yeah, Sue was your Thelma or your Louise. I decided both are criminals.
Both are criminals.
And yeah, now I ended up being the one who's scamming the system.
Yep.
We don't want that to happen, right?
No, correct. It's kind of a good point that you brought that up. We sign a listing contract with sellers before we start to do that. Because usually our first appointment with a seller, to be honest, it's not to sign the contract. We're going to walk through your house and like get a feel for the house. Then we're going to do some research on price point. Here's the range that I think you're currently in. Here's a couple updates that we can do. This is the range I want to get you to. Here's how I want to get you there. We're going to lay out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, who's going to pay for it, things like that.
Sure.
Then, okay, if you want to do that, you're ready for that, let's sign the contract. Then let's get to that work.
And what does a contract look like? How does that work?
The listing contract, basically stating here's the price point that we're going to list it at. Here's when we're going to put it on the market. Here's how long you're going to work with me. Things like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So
you can't scam the system, Dan.
Not easily.
It does say right in there, like, if you breach the contract, we can seek out marketing monies that we used, which would be the paint. Probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with you guys.
Not Thelma and Louise.
No, I don't want that coming down on me. No, as you walk through all of that, I think it's just really, really makes the case for why you'd bring a realtor in. Yeah. We've made that case when you're a buyer and the market is crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
I can see where it was really enticing for sellers to just put a for sale by owner in the yard.
Oh, yeah.
And there were reasons still to bring a realtor in, but especially now to get, all the info that you've got, that's just not easily accessible to.
Well, and some sellers still come to us thinking that the price points are still where the summer is. Whether they just, I don't want to say necessarily elderly clients, but anyone that's not really super in tune with either news or social media and they're, seeing this stuff come through.
Yeah.
They're kind of still stuck in those price points. And then that's where we're coming in and say, well, we're going to shoot for that price range, but then here's what we're going to have to do to your house in order to reach where you were maybe at that summer.
No, I know you just said a lot of really interesting things. Elderly. When you say elderly.
Got stuck there.
Yeah. What is elderly? And do I fit into that?
No.
Okay, there. That's all I need to know.
Okay, if anyone asked me that, I would have said no.
Okay.
Okay, so that means nothing.
Oh, wait a minute.
No.
Oh, you mean if they didn't, you're not saying if they asked you about me.
Dan,
you're just saying if
totally
anybody.
You're not elderly.
You're not elderly.
Well, I might be.
You have kids in high
That's
school.
why I said I don't like using that phrase because it's more so just someone that's not in tune with.
So ignorant.
Let's be very clear, teacher.
No, I completely
let's bring
get
in
it.
Sue.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He has nothing to say.
Too bad Sue's not here to bail you out. Now, if our listeners do have questions, if they are thinking about putting the house on the market, how's the best way to get in touch with you? Because I'm assuming, from all the conversations we've had in the past, you'll help them by answering questions, walking them through the process.
yeah.
How do they reach out to you guys?
They reach us at our cell. I'll start with Sue, 616-723-2400.
She likes calls all through the day, right?
All day.
All hours of the night, too.
Oh, yeah.
Call her as much as you want.
Mine is the secondary number, 616-633-5880. And just a quick note, too, even if you're not wanting to sell now, but you're just curious, like, okay, what is my value right now? What would you suggest that we do to get ready? Maybe if it's in the future. We do free consultations too. No, okay, not free painting, free consultation.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I figured
So
it
if
out.
people are just curious, like, okay, you just talked about the seller's market. Where do you think I'm at? What would you want us to do? We always sit down and talk with you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Ginger Herman from Prins Group, 5-star real estate leaders.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Are we good?
Yeah.
I think that was good.